King Ray Ray in this bitch. Ha! Perception is 9/10 of the law of survival of the fittest, that is. You can hear whatever you want to hear. You can learn whatever you need to be taught. But the only thing that matters is your perception. All of your actions and interactions with the world and the people in it, as far as how you assume they'll respond to your stimuli and how you'll respond to theirs, is based solely on your perception of the environment around you. We all believe that we can be steered one way or the other by whatever forces outside of our own being are influencing us, but nothing could be further from the truth. Now, we all know that when you're a little kid, you believe in a lot of things that you find out are not reality when you become an adult. From the Santa Clauses to the Easter bunnies to the tooth fairies, these are all things that as a child you perceive to be reality. So no one can tell you as a child that there is no Santa, because every time you go into a department store during the Christmas time holiday, there is a Santa in there. Now, never mind that you might see a black Santa or a white Santa or an Asian Santa or a Hispanic Santa, depending on where you are and depending on which department store you enter. That doesn't register with the child because the child isn't even looking at Santa as if he is not real. As you get older, you realize that your perception of that thing was not real. And once you perceive that it's not real, no one can come along and convince you that you're wrong. Santa does exist because your perception is that he doesn't. These are the type of things that you must train your children to understand. I have never told my sons that there is a Santa. Why would I give some unknown man, some unrealistic man, some figment of their imagination credit for the hard work I do to put in work to buy them things for Christmas? Tooth fairy. Child loses a tooth. Child puts the tooth under his pillow. You take the tooth and throw it away because it's nothing but trash and replace the tooth with money. The dentist doesn't give you money when he extracts a tooth. You give him money. You see, this whole thing about perception started from the time we were kids. Now, as an adult, you look out into the world. You have enemies on your team portraying themselves as friends, and they are only there because you perceive them to be friends. You have intimate partners in your life who you perceive to be there because they love you and they want what's best for you, but that nothing could be further from the truth. They're there for their own personal gain. They all have an ulterior motive, but you can't see an ulterior motive if you perceive them to be authentic. There are men on this very platform who portray themselves to be this, that, and the other. And you believe that they are that because you perceive that they are that. Regardless of the fact that you see several chinks in their armor, it doesn't matter how many things to the contrary you see. Until your perception changes, you're going to constantly be viewing things from a faulty perspective. You're never going to view things from a realistic perspective. You're never going to accept the realities of life that surround you. If you're embarking upon a path in life that doesn't bring you joy, why are you still on it? Because you perceive it to be the best thing that you have. You perceive making more money to do something you hate as more valuable than doing something you love for maybe less money. You perceive this. It is your perception. Your perception can be the total opposite of reality, but it does not matter. You still view the world based on your own perception. Your job as a man, as a woman even, is to match your perception to reality. Only then can you see your way into the life that you want to live. Only then can you understand how to keep people out of your presence who don't deserve to be there. Only then can you learn to view people for who they truly are, as opposed to who you want them to be, as opposed to who they portray themselves as. Only then can you live life in truth. And without truth, there is no honor, integrity, longevity, and there is no success. Peace of mind is something that we all should view, because if you are focused on your peace of mind, then your perception has a greater chance of being true to form, of being in line with the truth of your life, the reality of your life. If you don't focus on peace of mind, you'll accept anything as reality because you don't have anything to gauge it by. What are the parameters we use to box in our peace of mind? What are the barometers by which we gauge whether we have peace of mind or not? If your perception is all over the place, you're not concerned with peace of mind. You're concerned with what feels good. Perception and feelings go hand in hand until perception and logic go hand in hand. That is why men are forever seeing things from the correct perspective, because men perceive, for the most part, not all men, but for the most part, men perceive things through the eye of logic. Women perceive things through the eye of emotion. So a woman can stay with a man who physically abuses her just because he walks in the house, just because he sees her. She can stay there because she perceives him to be the man that he was before he started all of that. And there are several men who are in relationships with women who view life the same way. The woman was a certain way in the first 3 months, but ever since then, she's been terrible. But your perception is not that she is the way she's been for the past 10 months. Your perception is that she is the way she was the first 3 months. You can't even focus on the numbers game here, because your perception is based on what you feel. You see, when your perception is based on what you feel, it is based on an emotional neediness. You need to feel what you felt in the beginning with that person. You long for that in your life because self-fulfillment is not something you experienced at, nor do you want to be experienced at it, because self-fulfillment is a process that takes a while to master. For some of us, it takes years to master the art of self-fulfillment. But I'll tell you, once you master self-fulfillment, that is when you know your perception is now in tune with the reality of your life. You know, in the alpha sphere, we like to deal with the truths of life. Because before you deal with the truths of life, there is no alpha existence for you. The truths of your life are the only thing that should matter to you. Anything that's not, that doesn't coincide with the truths of your life, it's irrelevant to you. If you're broke, the truth of your life is that you're broke. If you shack up with a woman and you have to shack up with that woman because your money ain't right, that's your reality. That's the truth of your life. If you don't have any income and you're struggling, you don't know where your next meal is going to come from. That's the truth of your life. If you are stuck with a woman you hate, or even stuck with a man you hate, then you have to understand that that is the truth of your life. If you can't leave someone who's detrimental to you, man, that is the truth of your life. See, the truth of your life, if it is not good, is based on something you're not doing for yourself. Your perception is that someone is holding you back. Your perception is that someone is not letting you achieve what you want to achieve. Your perception is someone is not letting you go. Your perception is that you can't get over someone. That's your perception. The reality is that you can't love yourself. It's easy to blame other people for the plight of your life when you simply have to accept the fact that you don't love yourself enough to do everything in your power to change those things that destroy your ability to attain and maintain peace of mind. Perception is 9/10 of the law of survival of the fittest. And if you do not want to survive, then don't worry about it. Just keep perceiving things through the same cloudy bifocals that you use now. See, we got to understand one thing. Everything you want to achieve in life is based on logic, reason, understanding. None of it's based on faulty perception. None of it's even based on perception. It's based on these 10 steps will get you to this level. These next 10 steps will get you to this level. The next 10 steps will get you to that level. And the final 10 steps will get you to the epitome of whatever industry or lifestyle it is that you're pursuing. Life is simple. Life is cut and dry. You can put life on paper. You literally can put life on paper. and follow it to a T. The problem is perception is not on paper. Perception can be altered. Perception can be changed. Perception can be rearranged simply because perception is based on what feels good to you. The whole Santa Claus story feels good to a child, feels a whole lot better than a child just realizing that, hey, my parents are going to buy me all of this. But it's more logical for a child to understand my parents bought me all of this. The tooth fairy, it feels great to know that you lose a tooth, you can look forward to some money. It's a wonderful thing. Great thing, fun thing for a child to deal with the tooth fairy. It's boring for a child to understand, okay, I just lost a tooth. It ain't coming back. I ain't getting no money for it. I got to wait for the new one to grow in. Now I'm snaggletooth. But that's the reality of life. It benefits a child more to know the truth. If you're not a child's true parent, if you're a stepdad or a stepmom, and you're passing yourself over to be that child's true parent, eventually that child is going to find out the truth. And let me tell you something. Have you ever known anyone who fell out with their parents forever because they told them the truth from the beginning? Or do you know someone who fell out with their parents because their parents lied to them from the beginning and they finally found out the truth? I think we know the answer to that. Perception has to be aligned with reality as early as possible in one's life. There are many men now who are fresh out of relationships that they spent the last 20 years in, when they perceived within the first 5 years that this isn't where they needed to be. But they stayed because that perception was altered. Once a woman realized that this wasn't going the way she planned, so she adjusted her own interaction with you. You see, there's a woman who is cheating on her man, and she is treating that man like dirt. That man is being dogged out, and his woman is cheating on him. There's another man somewhere else whose woman is cheating on him, and she's treating him like a king. I'm talking about treating him like a king, bowing down to him. He swears that everything is gravy. The only thing is, he can't have sex with her whenever he get ready, because that's the part that somebody else is taking care of. But he doesn't care. He'll compromise that one thing because his perception is that one thing isn't important anyway. Why? Because she told him that. She told him that, baby, we're more than sex. That's just a small part of it. We have all these other wonderful things. And he bought into that. Now he's sitting around losing his libido because he can't use it when he wants to. Yeah, she treating him like a king, bowing down to him, cooking his food, washing his clothes, rubbing his back, talking sweet to him and doing all that. But he still got to watch porn and masturbate to get off. But he'll do that because he's got a sweet woman. And when he listens to his partners talk, their woman ain't sweet. So let me tell you a big thing about perception. You can't compare your life to the lives of those around you. Because if you got 5 partners and they all having trouble with their woman, but you're not having those trouble with your woman, you turn around, look at your woman, and you perceive her to be a better quality woman simply because you don't have the same issues with her that they have with their woman. See, there are men who have issues with their woman, man. She always complained about him not being at home, always complained about him not spending no time with her, always complained about him not touching her, like Tamar Braxton, the ugly face. And, just all those complaints about her not having enough time with him. Now, you're thinking in your mind, man, they want to be nagging all the time. You turn around, look, I don't never have none of those problems. Instead of looking at it realistically, saying, damn, why my woman don't ever complain about me? I know I don't spend no time with her, but she don't seem to care. She don't care if I don't spend no time with her. She don't care. I've been coming in for a whole month, sleeping in the guest room, man. She ain't said a word. You ain't asking yourself that because your perception is based on an unrealistic situation or scenario. It's based on the fact that your friends have a problem with their woman jocking them for time. And you, well, at least my woman don't nag me, because you don't have good sense. Now get out of your feelings and get into reality. Why ain't your woman feeling you like they woman feeling them? Why ain't your woman pretty much begging you to spend time with her? Your woman don't even care if you don't spend time with her. She glad you ain't coming around her like that. Your perception has to match reality. You understand what I'm saying? The same thing. If you're a woman and you got a man putting hands on you all the time, but professing he loves you, and you know you're doing everything in your power, everything the man says, and you still getting hands put on you, then you have to ask yourself, what is it that you're dealing with? You got friends who got men who are struggling with income, and you just, well, at least I live in the lap of luxury. At least you living good. Yeah, you living good, but you got to wear shades on your face when you go out, and it ain't the damn sun ain't even out. You show up to a luncheon with your girlfriends, and they all sitting in there, it's raining like hell outside. You let your umbrella down, you got on shades and wearing them the whole damn time you in there. Why? Because you got a black eye. Why? You still don't know why you got a black eye. Your perception is that your life is better, when in actuality, there is no such thing as a better life unless it affects you in a positive manner. Everybody has a bad life. If you don't have peace of mind, your life is jacked. Your perception tells you to grab a hold to the few good things in a bad situation. You understand? It's kind of like if you're making pancakes. If you're making pancakes and you got some fresh almond milk or even some goat milk, you got some fresh goat milk. You got this amazing new almond flour meal combination that's going to make these amazing flapjacks, man. You got this fresh churned butter straight off a farm that your uncle owns. I mean, hey, man, you've got some wonderful ingredients here. And you get to mix it and you forget you got to put an egg in it. And guess what you put in there? A rotten egg. I'm talking about an all the way rotten egg. Now, all of those other ingredients were tremendous. Man, you about to make some cold pancakes. You put that rotten egg in there, and guess what? It doesn't matter how good the other ingredients are. You got a rotten egg in your pancakes. So unless you want to die, you got to throw out that whole batch of pancake batter. That's what life is. Your pancake mix in your life, every ingredient has to be fresh. It don't matter if one ingredient is, you put spoiled milk in there, then guess what? You still ain't got no pancakes. See what I'm saying? You put the highest quality flour meal combination you could put in there, but it's got maggots in it. You understand? What you gonna do? You gonna eat maggots in your pancake? No. You can't put those pancakes on the griddle and put them on your plate until all of your ingredients are fresh. And that's how you have to look at life. Are your ingredients fresh or are your ingredients foul? And one foul ingredient ruins the entire mixture. So your perception of having 4 things out of 5 that are good still doesn't give you peace of mind, because the 5th thing ruins the final equation is ruined by the 5th thing being so terrible. It is about peace of mind. And what you find out about peace of mind is it is first established when you're alone. You can't establish your first dose of peace of mind while you're involved in some relationship. You have to establish peace of mind on your own terms, by yourself, without anybody else's influence, without having to accept anyone else's responsibility or responsibility for their desires, rather. Perception is based, more times than not, on other people's influence. So you have to eliminate that influence. I'm not saying don't be around other people. I'm saying dance to the beat of your own drum. You have to be the sole source of influence in your life when it comes to making those types of decisions that can affect your peace of mind in a negative manner. You have to do that. You have no other recourse. You have no other option. It is your job to do that. It is your responsibility to do that. And if you can't do that for yourself, how in the hell do you think you're going to pass it along to your seeds? How can you inform your son? How can you inform your daughter on the best way to proceed this life in the pursuit of peace of mind if you haven't figured out how to gain peace of mind yourself? Perception is 9/10 of the law of survival of the fittest. And you will not survive without it. Y'all coming down my door and let me know what you think about this topic, man. Early morning motivation, a quick spiel from your good brother, King Ray Ray in this bitch.